Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good weekend, and welcome back to Jurassic World Evolution. And when last we left our not even nearly 5-star park on Isla Pena, this had just happened.
I'm just gonna come out and say it. You and I make a heck of a team.
Oh yes, Tyrannosaurus Rex, the tyrant lizard. We finally got one, and it was definitely worth the wait.
The Science Division thanks you. And so do I.
Well, that's provided a fairly healthy boost to our dinosaur rating, although one T-Rex alone isn't going to be enough. However, we have now unlocked the next island, Isla Pena. That's a 3-star rating for Isla Pena.
Oh, this place is Isla Pena. If an island could have attitude, then this little chunk of volcanic rock takes the cake.
Yeah, that next island is going to be all kinds of fun, but we're not quite done here just yet.
Money. It makes the world go round. And it's what makes this next assignment so interesting. I really think you should take a look.
So, entertainment mission. Oh, hang on. Goat! Goat, it's behind you! No, too late. Never mind. Okay. Right. So we now have enough rep with Isaac's hipsters in the entertainment division to take on entertainment mission number 3, but we can't actually accept the mission just yet. You can only have one mission running at a time, and I'm currently about halfway through the confinement studies mission for the science division. We have to incubate and release, with at least 80% of its genetic code researched, one Diplodocus and one Velociraptor, and ensure that they remain housed within a secure facility. Now, just in case you're crap at multitasking, like me, you don't have to do them both at the same time. And in fact, I've already completed half of the mission with the Diplodocus. I've had to do a little bit of juggling with my dinosaur enclosures, however. I no longer have a carnivore enclosure and a herbivore enclosure. The herbivore enclosure is now mixed. I have a Diplodocus, an Ankylosaurus, which is a medium herbivore, but it's still on the large side, and I've introduced a couple of Deinonychus. Now, these are small carnivores. And the introduction of a pack of Deinonychus into the herbivore enclosure was incredibly bad news for the 2 Struthiomimus who'd been minding their own business in there, but, well, they ended up looking really good in a Deinonychus pie. So, this has helped boost the dinosaur star rating and variety of the dinosaurs in my park. It means I can't put any further small herbivores into that enclosure, but I'm free to keep populating it with medium and large herbivores. Meanwhile, the other enclosure, the one with the Tyrannosaurus, I'm kind of limited as to what I can put in there. I can't put any other large carnivores in there, or the T-Rex will rip them a new one. But a Velociraptor is also a small carnivore, just like the Deinonychus. I can't put the Velociraptor in the same enclosure as the Deinonychus, or they'll fight each other. But I can put them in the Tyrannosaurus pen. Of course, the problem is they're Velociraptors. You can't just have one Velociraptor. They're pack creatures. So I'm incubating 3. Of course, that means I'm going to have 3 times the problems when they inevitably break down the fence and run amok amongst the guests, but I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. While the raptors are busy in the oven, let's see how the T-Rex is doing. You don't normally have many problems with the Tyrannosaurs. They're reasonably happy to be just left to their own devices, as long as they have plenty of space, plenty of grassland, and a little bit of forest and something to drink. They're fine. Bit noisy. But then again, that's all part of the attraction. You know what the sad thing is here? There's a Tyrannosaurus Rex there. It's a creature that hasn't walked the earth in 75 million years. And nobody's paying any attention. I'll bet you they're all playing Pokemon Go. You know what I should do? I should hack the game servers and stick a Pikachu inside the Tyrannosaur enclosure. Yeah, I bet you that would make them pay attention. Oh, I don't know, kids today. Right, anyway. The raptors are ready for release.
If you ever want to build a situation where these animals will truly trust you, then there are times when you have to let them run free, even when that means they want to kill. because that's what they need to do.
Oh, and your advice sucks. Okay. 3 raptors. And their comfort threshold is kind of narrow. So you've got to get them released quick. Oh no, the T-Rex is headed to the release gate. She thinks it's a McDonald's drive-through counter. No! Get away from the gate! The raptors aren't going to come out if you... Oh, that's better. Okay. Oh, actually, is it okay? What the hell? You see, the thing about velociraptors is they have a very, very nasty case of what we call small man syndrome. It's always the little guys that you have to watch out for because they feel like they've got something to prove. That is not a fight you are going to win. Common sense prevailed. Okay, the second raptor is now in the park.
There's a new
The raptors are
I want
happy.
you to consider.
We're going to go ahead and take that contract because it doesn't conflict with anything else that we're doing.
Look, I know they're looking for ways to control the dinosaurs in the security division. Maybe this new genome helps with that. But instead of control, what these animals need is understanding. Trust and respect is a two-way street.
Yeah, Owen, when I want your advice in future, I'll rattle your cage, okay? In the meantime, shut up. Right, we've gone ahead and named our T-Rex. This is Trixie the T-Rex. And where's our third raptor? There it is. Okay, so we now have a... Well, you can get away with 2 raptors, but just in case something happens, it's safer to have 3. A nice, stable, social raptor group. And there's another reason why I wanted 3 raptors rather than just the bare minimum 2 that you can get away with. In order to complete this science division mission, we're going to have to deliberately piss one of them off. Because the mission is called Confinement Studies, so I have to get both the Velociraptor and the Diplodocus below their comfort threshold. And the easiest way to do that is to, well, as the name of the mission suggests, confine them. So what I'm going to do is construct enclosures within the existing enclosures and confine the Diplodocus in one and confine one of the Velociraptors in the other one. And this is why I wanted 3 raptors, because I can confine one of them and it's not going to piss the other 2 off. The other 2 will be quite happy in their own little social group, having a good gossip, talking behind the third one's back. And that's really going to piss this one off. And it is going to break down the fence, and it is going to go looking for guests to eat, which is why I'm taking no chances this time around, and I have activated the emergency shelters, and I'm packing all the guests into the basement. Yep, she's finally gotten good and pissed off. She can't believe what those other 2 bitches are saying about her. And she's going to start headbutting the fence. She is a bit of a drama queen. She's into self-harm. Yeah, that'll show them. Now they'll be sorry. I don't think they will. Okay, we have to keep this going for 3 minutes. So we've got the asset containment team on standby, ready to shoot her full of tranquilizers when she inevitably breaks out. And we have the ranger teams on standby to repair any damage that she inflicts on the fence. That fence is probably not going to stay up for much longer. Nope, there it goes. I have made a bit of a miscalculation here, however. I assumed the ranger team would be able to fix the fence just by driving outside the perimeter, but it turns out the route is blocked. So I'm going to have to put a gate in here. Ah, it's only $50,000. I've got nearly $5 million spare. She's going to bust out any second now. She is not happy. She can't believe what those other 2 raptors were saying about her. We're halfway there. I might actually be able to get away with this with only having the Tranco once. And the benefit of putting your test subjects inside their own mini enclosure is that if they break out, every other dinosaur in the enclosure doesn't break out with them. A velociraptor running around through a gap in the fence is bad enough, but 3 velociraptors and a tyrannosaurus running around through a gap in the fence would be catastrophic. Or it would be if I hadn't already gotten all of the guests safely indoors. Because here at Jingles Park we take criminal negligence lawsuits we take guest safety very, very seriously indeed. Did I sound serious? Was I convincing? Yeah? No? Do I need to work on it? Okay. Financially, this is killing me, of course, because I'm not earning any money with all the guests in the emergency shelters. So the sooner we can get this experiment concluded, the better. Unfortunately, the guys in the asset containment helicopter were all recruited from 44% win rating World of Tanks players. They can't hit shit. Oh, finally, a shot on target. Nope, that one missed as well. Yeah, how many shots did that take? Well, yeah, you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. Okay, let's get this thing back into the enclosure and get this experiment concluded. Or at least the first half of it, because we now have to do this all again with the Diplodocus. But the raptor is done, so we can get rid of the mini enclosure and she can go and give those other two bitches a piece of her mind. Which should make her feel a bit happier. Yeah, she's cheering up. She shouldn't be giving us any more problems. Now the good thing about the Diplodocus is that it's a very, very easygoing dinosaur. It takes a lot to piss one of these things off. Which, under the normal course of events, is fantastic, because you don't really want an angry Diplodocus running around the park trampling your guests, but when you're deliberately trying to piss one of these things off, it takes forever. I mean, look at that enclosure. It's tiny. It's barely enough space to swing a cat. There's no food, there's no water, and for the last 10 to 15 minutes she's just been sitting there saying, nah, I've had worse. But we finally managed to push her buttons. And when something the size of that decides it's going to go for a walk, well, it's going to go for a walk. So, Ranger team on standby. Although we do have some other tasks to attend to. We have a sick dinosaur in the park. One of the Deinonychus has come down with something nasty. So we need to get that dealt with before it spreads to the other Deinonychus. There we go, disease outbreak controlled. I'll tell you one thing that I have noticed with these missions. Take a look at the enclosure that the Diplodocus is in. She has a choice of 4 fences that she can take her anger out on when she gets upset enough. 2 of those fences lead to nowhere. They lead right back into the enclosure. So you'd think, when you're doing these missions, that you have a 50-50 chance that even if they do break a fence down, it's not going to be a big problem, because it's not going to be an exterior fence. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. They always go for the exterior fence. Every time, without fail. Although, we only have to wait another 30 seconds. And she hasn't actually broken any of the fences down. Yeah, I knew there was a reason I liked the Diplodocus. 20 seconds. Oh, she's giving that fence a funny look. Don't do it, Dippy. Fight the urge. 10 seconds. It will all be over soon. No, Dippy. Get away from... Bad Dippy. Get away from the fence. Let's get ready to demolish. 1 second. Done. Demolish the interior fences, and she should be happy again. Or start getting happy again.
Now Dr. Wu's gaze is elsewhere. I think we should take care of those dinosaurs.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that one, Dr. Dewar. Wait, when you say take care of them, you mean give them a cup of tea and a couple of chocolate biscuits, yeah? You don't mean take care of them the way Tony Soprano has you taken care of. Okay, good. Oh, I'm glad we're on the same page. Yeah, I've seen a movie where careless use of that take care of him expression had some unintentionally hilarious consequences. In fact, what was it? I think it was called 51st State with Samuel Jackson. Oh, hang on. Oh yes, mission complete. Well, of course it is. $2 million, and the Nodosaurus genetic code is now available, so that's nice.
Hopefully those specimens aren't too traumatized after this. Thanks for not losing your head back there. This could so easily have gone wrong.
So, if I have the story straight, there was some excitement and drama among the eggheads? A real PhD throwdown, huh? I'm sorry I missed it.
So, yeah, in this movie, The 51st State, Samuel Jackson is a drugs chemist who's developed a new brand of cocaine or something, and he's trying to get rich off it. So he takes it to a bunch of drug dealers in Liverpool, in England of all places. And Robert Carlyle is arranging to have his product tested. So he brings in a chemist, and the chemist runs whatever tests chemists do and says, yeah, this is really, really good stuff. It's incredibly pure. So Robert Carlyle turns around to one of his henchmen and says, take care of the chemist here, will you? I need to talk some business with my man here. And you never see the chemist again. Anyway, half an hour later, something's happened and they need to get the guns out of the boot, or, trunk, if you're American, of the car. And they pop the hood and there's this dead chemist in the back of the car. Robert Carlyle turns around and says, what the hell? You told me to take care of him? I meant get him a cup of tea, not take care of him. So it's very important, if you use that expression, that everybody's on the same page. Otherwise, bad things can happen. Anyway, it's time to start expanding our operations. We've got plenty of cash coming in with the introduction of the Tyrannosaurus, the Velociraptors and the Deinonychus. And so far I've only really been playing around with slightly less than half of the real estate that's actually available here on Isla Pena. There's a huge expanse of ground down to the south here that's just begging to be populated with all manner of ferocious beasts. And so once we've got the infrastructure built up around here, we're going to get to work at satisfying the demands of the entertainment division. Isaac's mission here is actually fairly straightforward. There's nothing complicated about it. He just wants you to release 2 certain types of dinosaur with specific skin patterns. This is one of them. It's a Parasaurolophus, and it took about 7 takes for me to get that name right. But specifically, it's a Parasaurolophus with the savanna skin pattern, and that's it. Well, it's not quite as simple as that. These things are herd creatures, so they're also quite social, so you need a few of them, and they do like to wander around in big groups, but, well, more dinosaurs is always better. The only other thing we need to do to complete this mission is exactly the same thing, except this time with a Maiasaura.
Hammond needed more people like you when he first started down this prehistoric path. Fast learners, dedicated personnel. Well, I'm sure there were some that weren't eaten.
First, however, I'm going to get myself a really big herd of these parasaurs. When I said they like large population groups, I wasn't kidding. At the same time, though, I'm not planning on just devoting all of this huge herbivore enclosure to just the one species of dinosaurs. We're going to be jamming this enclosure chock full of all kinds of species of herbivore, including the Maiasaura, because that's the mission objective. But first, there's something I've been wanting to do for quite some time. Almost as high on my list as introducing a Tyrannosaurus into the park. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's the Brachiosaurus. I love these things. They're a bit high maintenance though. And they're not high maintenance in the same way as a pack of velociraptors. You can have one Brachiosaur and it'll be entirely happy. It can tolerate a large population of other dinosaurs in the same enclosure. But it's very fussy about its environment. It needs a lot of forest cover. And that makes it difficult for the guests to see them, despite the huge size.
Oh, a Brachiosaurus. Wonderful. Our guests enjoy the large dinosaurs.
Yeah, but they enjoy seeing the large dinosaurs even more, so your standard viewing enclosures aren't really going to cut it here. You need those towers, and even then, well, they need a big-assed enclosure. They need plenty of space to roam around in, and while they're quite happy tolerating the presence of other species of dinosaurs in large numbers, not a lot of other dinosaurs actually enjoy the same environmental conditions. Too much forest cover, not quite enough grassland. So, if you're going to be including brachiosaurs into your park, you're going to be devoting a lot of real estate to a relatively small number of dinosaurs. I do think they're worth it though. Soon, however, we are going to be getting access to some species of large carnivores that also enjoy the same amount of forest density as the brachiosaurs and will quite happily share the same enclosure. It's still going to be difficult for the guests to actually see them in all that forest, however, and that's why I really want to get this entertainment mission complete, because it's going to reward me with the gyrosphere. And if you haven't seen the relevant Jurassic Park movie and you don't know what the gyrosphere is, just be patient, and it will all become clear. First, we're going to complete this contract by introducing Myosaurus into the park with the Savanna skin pattern gene. These are funny looking buggers. And again, they're herd animals, a lot like the parasaurs, so you're going to want to release 3 of them at the same time. And that's why we have this huge herbivore enclosure to accommodate all of the myosaurs and all of the parasaurs.
Okay, our job now is to sell these new dinosaurs to our guests. This is must-see BC, right? That should mean an increase in revenue, which is always the true measure of success.
You know, when I'm hating Isaac, I can't do anything else because I need my whole body to hate him with. I hate him that much. I'm happy to take this $2 million in his gyrosphere station, though. I mean, I don't hate him that much.
Our bottom line is looking solid, and our attendance and financials are both up thanks to your efforts. You make it look easy, which is not always to one's advantage. Just saying.
So, why should you be so happy about getting the gyro station unlocked? Well, I'm going to demonstrate, although I'll demonstrate here rather than in the Brachiosaur enclosure so you can actually see what's happening. You put down a gyro station and then you connect a path at both ends. And once the path is complete, guests can get into the gyrospheres and they'll follow the path that you've laid down for them. And this is important when you have restricted visibility of your dinosaurs, because the visibility rating of your dinosaurs is also a large factor in the park's overall dinosaur rating. It's no good having all kinds of exotic animals in the park if the guests can't actually see them. So your existing viewing enclosures tend to have fairly narrow fields of vision. Any dinosaurs outside of that field of vision may as well not even be there as far as the guests are concerned. Now you can get around that by putting the large viewing towers up, which can see further into the park but have an even narrower cone of view. And when even that isn't good enough, that's where the gyrospheres come in. Because the gyro station's park visibility coverage extends to all of the gyrospheres running around the path. The gyrospheres have their own 360-degree field of vision. So even if you have dinosaurs that are hidden deep inside a very heavily forested area of your park, as long as the gyrosphere path goes into that heavily forested area of the park, the guests in the gyrospheres will have visibility of those dinosaurs. Speaking of exotic dinosaurs, it's time to release our latest creation. This is the Baryonyx. And it's a bit of a bastard. You would not want to put this thing in the same enclosure as a T-Rex. There would be violence. You can put it in the same enclosure as a giant herbivore like the Brachiosaur, of course. Large carnivores, well, the natural ones, not the hybrids that you start tinkering around with later, but most naturally occurring large carnivores can exist quite happily in the same enclosure as large or giant herbivores. And the Baryonyx is a particularly good matchup for the Brachiosaur. I couldn't put a Tyrannosaurus in the same enclosure. The Brachiosaur and the Tyrannosaur would exist quite happily together, but the environment in an enclosure that's suitable for a Brachiosaur contains way too much forest cover for a Tyrannosaurus to be happy. The Baryonyx, on the other hand, is the perfect co-star in the Brachiosaur enclosure because it enjoys the same amount of forest cover. Now at the moment, I actually almost have a 5-star rating for the park overall. Normally the tricky thing is getting the 5-star dinosaur rating, and it's quite easy to get a 5-star rating for the park facilities, but in this case exactly the opposite has happened. I have a 5-star dinosaur rating, but the park's facility rating is only at 4.5 stars, and the reason for that is because the park is so amazing, too many people are trying to get in, and I don't have enough places for them all to live. But I can easily fix that simply by putting an extra hotel down. And with the 4th hotel under construction, all I had to do was wait a minute and I would have my 5-star park rating. Or at least that's what I thought. But it turns out that even I am not immune to the Jingles effect. You see, when I was constructing that huge, heavily wooded Brachiosaur enclosure down to the south, I couldn't actually see exactly where I was placing the various bits of the fence because they were all kind of hidden under the tree cover. And it turns out that certain bits of fence may not have been 100% connected to each other. Now, that wasn't a problem, as long as I had a couple of huge, docile, placid brachiosaurs wandering around. But as soon as I put a large, carnivorous baryonyx into the same enclosure, it didn't take long for it to find the gap in the fence. And once it was outside the fence, well, there were all kinds of two-legged Happy Meals wandering around. Just waiting to be munched on. Oh, and it was so close. I nearly got away with it.
I'd look this gig over. You should too.
Seriously, Isaac? Can you not see I'm busy? Oh, great. Safety rating in the toilet. Again.
En route to pick up the asset.
Still, if there's one thing that you can always rely on in Jurassic World Evolution, it's the ridiculously short memory of your guests. And I'm not kidding. Literally 20 seconds later, great safety, great capacity, and great satisfaction. They're all utterly engrossed in the latest episode of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, and they've completely forgotten about Joe, Dave and Bob, who all ended up lining the stomachs of the baryonyx. I blame the teachers. Okay.
Asset has been delivered.
Let's just employ more people in the clothes shop to give them something to spend their money on and improve the shopping rating. And that should be enough to get us 5 stars. And there it is Isla Pena with a 5-star overall park rating. Unlocked the coastal skin pattern. I'm ready to accept your congratulations now, Jeff Goldblum. Hello, Jeff? Nobody cares. Right. Screw you all. I'm going to release another Brachiosaur. Consider this a treat to myself. I don't know, you work your fingers to the bone and nobody gives a shit. Now, we 5-starred the park, but we're not quite done on Isla Pena because we haven't completed the security unlocks yet. There's still 1 security mission and 2 reputation rewards on the table.
For many of these animals, their natural state is one of contained aggression. Well, in this project, we're gonna unleash it. Amplify it even. This will let you get a handle on who you really are, and what they, the dinosaurs, can become. First up, we need to research genetic modifications. We're looking for genes that can have an impact on the dinosaur's specific traits. Their aggression, attack rating, and so on.
And Dr. Dua need not know anything about this. This is a point I don't want to have to repeat.
Copy that.
1 Deinonychus with the aggressive instincts modification.
I've received word the research is complete, and we can proceed with genetic mods to the animals. Specifically, hyper-aggressive behavioral mods.
Whoa, what are you going to do to these dinosaurs? I seriously hope that you know what you're doing, because I know, and I survived it. It's something that you cannot yet say.
What was it that woke you up, Jeff? Was it the sound of all your royalties being counted? 5-starred the park and he didn't care. Not that I'm bitter or anything. Anyway, let's get this done. Here is our Deinonychus with the Aggressive Instincts version 2 modification. And a very funky new skin pattern as well. I can't actually remember which one that is. Sorry. But I'm sure you'll agree. It's pretty nice.
Okay. This new strain of aggressive dinosaur needs to be watched, monitored, and evaluated. Honestly, I don't like it.
You don't have to like it, Lambert. I'll like it enough for both of us. Just please keep my people safe while they do their work.
That's my job, Doctor.
Yes, it is. So do it.
It's going straight for the fence.
Confirming test.
Jingles, why aren't you putting the guests in the emergency shelters? The Deinonychus is breaking the fence down, Jingles. The Happy Meals are all panicking. Well, I don't really care. I've already got my 5-star park rating. What's the worst that can happen? And anyway, look, there it goes. It's on the path.
Request received. Responding to repair.
Really, George? This is not the time.
People like to feel secure. That's our
The
job.
ACU is going to tranquilize it before it kills anything. There it goes.
So.
The test subject never killed anything.
Request acknowledged.
Of course, the enclosure that the test subject broke out of is full of ravenous Deinonychus, and they don't really care who made the breach in the fence. They're going to take advantage of it and help themselves to all the little Happy Meals. But the test subject never killed anybody. There we go. Breach repaired. Test subject back inside the enclosure. It's all good. This is fine. What's she up to? She still seems pissed off. Yeah, she's heading straight for the fence again. You know what this needs? Another Deinonychus. Some people just want to watch the world burn. Yep, there she goes. Run, Happy Meals. Run for your lives. Oh, there she goes. She's out again.
Acknowledging request for repair crew.
We have a guest down.
Acknowledged.
Emergency cleanup crew to the corner of enclosure 1. Bring a bucket. Look at the Diplodocus acting as if it hasn't noticed. You're not fooling us, Diplodocus. You're such a hipster. Yeah, we know. You were breaking out of parks before it was famous. Yeah, there she goes. Sitting by the side of the lake listening to experimental jazz on a portable gramophone. I know your type. Oh, that was kind of disappointing. Only one casualty and we managed to get the breach contained. I don't think these carnivores are taking this whole thing quite seriously enough. This is a serious experiment, you Deinonychus. I don't know. Young dinosaurs today. No sense of social responsibility. There she goes. Straight for the fence. But this time, there's a plot twist. Wait for it. There's the panic.
Repair crew.
Look at these idiots. They're running into the dinosaur enclosure. Oh my god, what is wrong with them? You see, this is what happens if you don't work hard at school, kids. Study hard, do your homework, pass your exams, and you won't be the idiot who, when confronted with a breach in a carnivorous dinosaur enclosure, runs into the enclosure. Oh my god. What are these idiots doing? You see, the reason why that actually happened is because there are a couple of differences in my dinosaur park. I don't put signs on the fences that say, "Caution, do not climb the fence." Okay. There are no safety warnings in my park. Oh no, I'm a firm believer in natural selection. Just take the labels off everything and let nature take its course.
Collection request received. Asset to be collected.
At the very worst, you're going to end up with half a dozen idiots who aren't going to pass the stupid gene on to another generation. The gene pool will thank you for it. So remember, folks, if you're stuck for something to do with the kids this summer, send them to Jingles Park. I promise you'll get the smart ones back. Well, the mission's nearly done, but all the Deinonychus are closing in on something inside the fence. Oh, look, it's Steve. Hello, Steve. It's nice to see you. Steve, why are you inside the fence? Are you some kind of idiot? Steve is some kind of idiot. Steve will be dead soon. Nobody will miss him. You might have noticed that there are actually warning labels on the fence, but they're on the inside. I actually care about the dinosaurs. Hey, there it is, mission complete. What did we get, George? $2 million? And the Brachiosaurus, another carnivore. Fantastic.
When I started here at the parks, I knew there were times when we would be straying into morally ambiguous territory, right? I mean, we're managing wildlife that shouldn't exist. So I guess there'll be days like this when the project is successful, but it still feels like we lost.
I'm getting word that you, Lambert, and Wu were up to something. Something
What?
that was potentially
Me?
dangerous.
Dangerous?
Irresponsible.
Irresponsible?
I knew I had to watch them. Am I going to have to start watching you as well?
Certainly not, and I have a character reference. Steve will give me a glowing reference and tell you all about what a fantastic park manager I am. If he ever wants to get out of here alive, he will. Well anyway, with the mission complete and with Steve giving the Deinonychus indigestion, all I have to do now is raise my reputation with the security division to the extent where I finally get that final reputation unlock, which is another dinosaur genome. And all I really have to do now is take a dinosaur photo worth $5,000. And that's bloody easy. Let's take a snap of the Diplodocus eating from a feeder. That ought to do it.
You took this photo all by yourself, huh?
Yeah, I did. Contract complete.
What can I say?
George is happy.
You did good.
And there's the reputation reward. And that is every unlock and a 5-star park rating on Isla Canyon. Coming up in the next episode, we will be moving on to the penultimate island in the game, Isla Pena. Isla Pena is bloody evil. In fact, here's a little teaser of what you can expect. Amongst the problems that you're going to encounter on the next island are tropical storms. That's not such a big deal. You've had to deal with tropical storms in the game before now. Yeah, not like the ones that you get on Isla Pena. Yeah, I think we're probably going to need a bigger Jeep. All this to come in the next episode. Till then, take care. Hope you're all having a great weekend. And I'll catch you next time. Assuming I survived this.